7 o'clock. We'll call our Scott County Fiscal Court business meeting to order. And I'd like to ask everyone to join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Hamilton, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hostetler?
Present.
Mr. Lyons?
Here.
Mr. Wallace?
Here.
Mr. Corman?
Present.
Mr. Ellison? Mr. Davila?
Present.
Mr. Livingston?
Here.
Mr. Culbertson?
Here.
Judge Covington?
Present. I had a phone call request a short time ago to Ms. Hamilton from Ms. Williams and Ms. Holliday, and they wanted to address the court and invite the court to an event and a picnic. And Stacy took the call, and I'm going to honor that request at this point. So if you all would like to have just a couple minutes there.
You're lucky you got me. She talks more than I do. Hello. I wanted to invite each of you on behalf of the Scott County LGBTQ Fairness Group. We're having a family picnic October 8th at Royal Spring Park from 4 to 6 p.m. And we're going to have all the things that are required for a picnic. We're going to have food, and we're going to have drinks, and we're going to have games for the children, and some activities, art activities for the children. And we're going to have speeches, and we're going to have music with a DJ. And the whole point of this is just for us. There are all kinds of families, and this picnic is for any kind of family that wants to come, because we're all traveling on this earth together, and we want it to be a good experience. So we invite you. That'll be a week from Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. A week from Saturday.
2 weeks.
Okay, that's what I meant to say. Thank you. Good job, Carrie, helping me. But she gave you a little paper. Did she give you all papers? Well, she will. She's a good person. We really would love to have you come and join us, and we hope if you do, you'll have a great time.
Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we'd like to go to number 4 on our agenda to consider the minutes of the previous meeting. Is there any questions or comments related to those minutes as presented?
No question. Just a motion.
I have a motion from Mr. Hostetler.
Second.
A second from Mr. Lyons. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 5, transfers as presented in your packet. Any questions related to those transfers?
I do have one. I didn't get a chance to talk to you earlier. I don't know what line it is. About the 4th one down, building and construction.
180,000.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask.
Kelly just asked it.
That 180, I believe that was for the Lyle.
Now, here's the thing. Let me approach.
Our treasurer, Michelle Ray.
Sorry. You never see me just pop up, right? What happened, this is a little bit of a backstory here. So we sent a check to our construction.
That's that one, yes.
It's that one. And the endorsement from the vendor on the back was questioned by the bank. So the bank redeposited the money back into our account. And so we had to make a transfer from the expense account back into, it was a deposit back into the, how do I explain this? Goes back into the reimbursements, and then we have to then in turn put the money back into that expense account in order to generate it and it not be like we're going over the expense of that account. I know. That's really a mouthful.
So instead,
We're not getting, it's not a,
so instead of to Marilla Design and Construction, there was not a stamp, there was a personal signature, and that's what got it kicked.
so it's, there's not really,
It's coming back to us, and it has
coming
to
back to
go,
us and it has to go back.
into a specific line item.
yes.
And transferred in, and then when you write the check back to them, you will
That way
transfer
we're,
it back over to.
we're still in good,
Yeah.
yes.
We're just having a do-over.
It's just it's a paper thing, so just
Yeah, yeah, well, thank
an
you,
audit trail.
Michelle.
I'm sorry, that was
Thanks,
probably
Judge.
clear as mud, but
One other
Michelle,
comment.
you explained it well.
Yeah, she did.
been a really
That's
long day.
great. I will make this comment. I'm glad to see the bank, even though they were obviously probably wrong, but they were trying to be a check and balance, which is in our favor. Just caused a little paperwork shuffle, no big deal. It could have been the other way, and it could have been a bad deal,
Exactly.
and they caught it. So
And I
I
talked to-
actually appreciate that.
No, I talked to Joe Arnold and had a conversation, and that's their checks and balances. So,
Motion for approval.
motion, second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Bills and hand checks. Any questions or comments?
Motion approved.
Motion for Mr. Lyons.
Second.
Second for Mr. Hostetler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Mr. Culbertson, would you share the annual tax settlement of the sheriff of Scott County, Tony Hampton?
Tony Hampton, Scott County Sheriff, 2021 tax year settlement, Scott County Fiscal Court, County. Original certification, $398,071.75. Discounts, $62,084.24. Penalties, $5,509.33. Exonerations increases, $50.22. Certificate of delinquencies at real estate, $18,713.18. Certificate of delinquencies tangible, $1,593.86. Current year additional bills, $5,004.38. Real tangible commissions, $141,188.02. Prior year additional bills, $128.22. Prior year additional penalties, 49 cents. Prior year additional discounts, $2.51. Prior year additional commissions, $5.36. LSG bill, $327.03. LSG carryover to 2022 taxes, $327.03. Exoneration decreases, $4,173.35. Current year refunds, $1,011.59. Prior year refunds, $2,029.05. So real tangible due district, $3,177,963.23. Amount previously paid, $3,177,963.26. Net amount due district, 3 cents. Franchise receipt total, $227,642.89. Franchise, under $10 bill value, $3.12. Amended void bills, $2,973.32. Franchise penalties, $3.35. Franchise discount, $441.06. Certificate of delinquency, $49.89. Franchise carried over 2022, $36,840.90. Commissions, $7,959.60. Franchise due district, $179,378.35. Amount previously paid, $179,325. Net amount due district, $53.35.
Any questions or comments? Just need to make sure the record reflects that, and we've done that.
Actually,
We
this
have to-
year,
we
it
have to
asks for a motion, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Wallace.
Second.
Second from Mr. Livingston.
So
Thank you.
it's a motion just to Accept that.
Acknowledge receipt, yeah.
Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Ordinance 22-12, second reading, Parks Property Regulation.
Scott County Fiscal Court Ordinance Number 22-12, an ordinance relating to the prohibition of mini motorbikes and ATVs and related to parking on county parks property. Whereas the purpose of local government is to serve the people of Scott County to the best of its ability and to assure the safety, health, and welfare of its citizens. And whereas the Scott County Fiscal Court has an interest in preserving and maintaining Scott County Parks property and preventing property damage and nuisance on said property. And whereas the use of mini motorbikes and ATVs on Scott County Parks property, as well as parking on the grass, has caused destruction of turf and a nuisance to park users. Now therefore be it ordained by the Scott County Fiscal Court as follows. 1. No person shall operate, park, or allow to be operated or parked any motor vehicle or golf cart within any of the county's parks, except within the areas, times, and conditions of such operation and parking as determined and posted at the entrance to all county parks by the Director of the Georgetown Scott County Parks and Recreation, or in the case of Great Crossing Park, by the Director of Great Crossing Park. 2. No person shall operate any ATV, mini bike, moped, motorized bicycle, motorized scooter, or other motorized apparatus within any of the county's parks, except A, staff members of Georgetown Scott County Parks and Recreation may use ATVs in county parks for trash retrieval during special events and as otherwise authorized by the Director of Georgetown Scott County Parks and Recreation. B, employees of Scott County and the City of Georgetown are permitted to operate ATVs in county parks as necessary to perform job duties. And C, volunteers are authorized to use ATVs in county parks during special events as authorized by the Georgetown Scott County Parks and Recreation Department. 3, any person violating this ordinance may be denied entrance to the park and or issued a citation and fine not less than $25 nor more than $100 for each offense. 4, this ordinance may be enforced by the Scott County Sheriff's Office or any other law enforcement agency having jurisdiction. 5, the ordinance shall take effect upon its passage and publication as required by law. The first reading was approved September the 9th, 2022, and if adopted, it would be upon second reading September the 22nd, 2022.
Questions or comments?
Motion approved.
Motion from Mr. Alvin Lyons, second from David
I have a
Livingston.
question.
Question on the
Just
table.
caught this while I was listening. Not less than 25, no more than 100. So who picks the number in between?
Be the judge.
Mr. County Attorney?
Yeah, well, if they came to court, typically it'd be kind of like having we would
So
recommend
they would get a
fine.
citation, then they would go
Yeah,
to
they
court,
would
and
come
then
to
the judge
court
would
and then,
determine.
yeah.
So if it's multiple.
Prosecutor recommend a fine, yeah, so maybe
Okay.
for the second offense or something, it'd be
Okay,
$100.
I didn't know, I just didn't know if the law enforcement.
No, it'd be determined in
Okay,
court.
okay, all right, thank you.
We have a motion and a second. Any other question or comment? David Livingston. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Number 9, EMS travel. Mr. Runyon, good evening.
Good evening, Judge, Magistrates. We have an opportunity next month, October 10th through the 14th, to send our education coordinator to Orlando for some national training. It's the largest EMS conference in the world, and there's some disciplines that we teach that there'll be updates for the instructors there, so we're going to send one person down to kind of gather that information, bring it back and share it with our team here. There's a couple other programs they're putting on there, the high performance CPR, which we've talked about, and the difference that makes, for our community and our survival rate. I think we talked about that last time too. So proposing that we send John Osterman, our education coordinator, down to Orlando for those dates. The total cost, and I have it broken out, but the total cost for the trip and the training would be $2,772. That was in our budget that was approved. That money's there, so I'm just asking for approval to send him down.
Questions or comments? They never do these trainings like in, West Virginia or like somewhere in Arkansas. It's always Orlando or
Yep.
Phoenix.
They're probably waiting on one in Hawaii, too.
Yeah.
That's the one I want.
No, but I am confident that Mr. Osterman will take that training, pick up a few things, and bring it back because I know the amount of training we do is very important. Motion for Mr. Corman,
Second.
second for Mr. Hosteller. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Then we need a postcard.
Judge, are we going to do the promotion now? Okay.
We can.
Yeah, I did.
Was there an email about a promotion as well, EMS?
Sorry, since
No,
Chris
I
was
mean-
up there, I was,
No, it makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah, just on Chris Running's behalf, I'm pleased to recommend the promotion of Cole Weichel from EMT to paramedic. That'll be effective October the 1st, and his pay rate will go from $12.47 an hour to $15.78 an hour when he becomes paramedic. And it was really, we thought that we'd have more time, I think, to do this. We wouldn't present it till the next meeting, but it all transpired today, so.
Historically, that it's a couple-week process, but for whatever reason, he submitted his paperwork on Monday, and today he got his numbers, and so he's licensed by the state and just has a few hoops internally to jump through, but should be able to get all that done by the 1st.
Would there be a motion to approve? Motion for Mr. Lyons, second for Mr. Wallace. Any other questions or comments?
Just one, and that's a significant jump in pay. I'm sure that's in our schedule.
Yeah, this is the base rate for both paramedic and for EMT.
Yeah,
So it's the starting rate.
I thought your question was, now, where will this put us?
well, there is just one more.
So where does that put us?
So we're a couple short. We've had.
Yeah, because we're just moving one up, right?
Since the last time we met, but we do have a new paramedic starting Monday, so we'll be 2 positions down.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. So we had a motion, we had a second. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Wallace. Jared, would you come up and make some comments? We do have a resolution that Cam will read.
It's regards to our updated 23-27 solid waste plan. I know we have worked on solid waste plans for several years now, but this is a statutory requirement. Some highlights, we have to offer programs, which we do. Everybody has access to residential waste services. We offer every citizen access to recycling services and then other programs. And then one of the main key points is we have to have somewhere for our trash to go. We have 4 letters of 10 years of capacity from 4 different landfills. So those are the highlights. Thank you.
Comment, Mr. Hostettler.
At least one. I'm not going to limit myself.
You can have.
I kind of wanted to highlight a couple things. First of all, I appreciate Jared's work because 5 years ago I was on that committee and we did a lot of work together along with a lot of other folks in our community. Some of them are sitting in this room right now, and some of our citizens that were on it. Yeah, that's what I say. There are several people in the room right now besides myself and Jared that have been involved, I believe, even 5 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Chief, I think you were, yeah. And so I appreciate that work. And one of the things, and I say this, I appreciate this from the court as well. One of the things I don't think you just highlighted was the voucher program that we have that's available for 4 vouchers a year and per household in Scott County, not out in the county only, but even in the 3 cities as well. And I wanted to highlight that, and I still get calls because my name is still on that sign at the landfill, but I still get calls from
You're
folks.
not by yourself.
That's
Mr.
true.
Hostettler.
That is true, Judge, and you're there as well. And So, and I say that to highlight this, still a lot of folks don't realize that the landfill is no longer open. And so they call me or the judge, sometimes both of us. But since we've got this voucher system and people are not aware of it, so we need to continue to, I think all of us need to continue to talk about it with folks. And I was able to, just a couple of weeks ago or something like that, a guy called me from the Sadieville area, and he's got my number off the sign, and I said, well, here's an opportunity, and I hooked him up with Jared, and Jared was able to get him the voucher on the phone, whatever, by the time he got to Rumpke, and so he was able to use that voucher, and the guy was actually very appreciative. He told me, he said, well, I don't want to climb that mountain anyhow, so and one of the questions that I get asked is, what happened to Free Dump Day? Well, that got canceled early in COVID, which has been over 2 years ago. It's close to 2.5 years ago. The landfill at the time wanted to protect their employees because of COVID. Okay, so they shut down the Free Dump Day. So it's been well over 2 years since that's been available. But now this voucher program, and we just need to promote it. Because it's a good deal. I think there are people using it, but anyhow, I wanted to highlight that, and I wanted to highlight Jared's work and thank him for it, because he works with a couple of folks, at least at the state level, who helped the whole committee get this thing in order.
No, I echo yours. Thank you to Jared and his work, and then the previous committees that have worked, and we're in much better shape, in my opinion, than we have been in the past. And then I'd like to ask J.R. Brandenburg, part of this program is as a county, we've added positions that are doing litter abatement 7 days a week, not really, but 5 days a week. And I see those guys out everywhere, J.R. They've got them, you've got them out going, and I know you're keeping account on how many bags. I know you have.
Every month I tally it up and get new numbers over the next board meeting. I can have some numbers, and we go out and clean up dumps and people dump on the side of the road.
And Judge, too, I know JR getting Swartz, and then, of course, Chief Bruin here on the Public Works side, they work really good together.
Yes, sir.
We call Arlington City. I know when Chief Bruin and his folks go out and help different areas.
Chief Bruin's got...
Between JR and Chief Bruin, they're a great team.
I know Chief Bruin's got your guys assigned to similar tasks. It just doesn't go away, does it? On Saturday, a week ago, I didn't bother JR, but I was going down Lemon's Mill, and I looked over to my right, and somebody had just stopped in the middle of the road and just thrown a whole bed of stuff over. And I just shook my head, and I just put a note down to call, to remind on Monday to talk to JR, because to have his guys go get it. But it just makes me shake my head. And
The truckload and a half that we took to the Rumpke transfer station and dumped off, it was a
good.
easy task to do.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we've got a recliner out on the side of the road, a TV out on the side of the road. We've got to go get those.
It just, it doesn't stop. So, any other questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Motion.
So we have a motion, but he's going to read the resolution.
Got you.
Scott County Fiscal Court, Scott County, Kentucky, Resolution 22-10, a resolution adopting the Solid Waste Management Plan 2023 through 2027 update. Whereas Scott County Fiscal Court is required by KRS 224.43-340 and KRS 224.43-345 to submit an update of the area solid waste management plan, and whereas the Scott County Solid Waste Management Area is governed by the Scott County Fiscal Court, and whereas the Scott County Solid Waste Management Plan update sets the agenda for implementation of solid waste reduction and management for the years inclusive of 2023 through 2027, whereas a public comment period on the Scott County Solid Waste Management Plan 2023 through 2027 update was conducted in the county. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Scott, Commonwealth of Kentucky, that the Scott County Fiscal Court hereby adopts the Scott County Solid Waste Management Plan 2023 to 2027 update and supports its action plan implementation plan and associated activities. This, the 22nd day of September 2022, said resolution adopted and approved in a meeting of the Scott County Fiscal Court.
Motion?
Yes, sir.
Second for Mr. Dobler. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Jared, for your work, and everyone else as well.
Thank you all for your opposed. It's beneficial.
So that brings us down to, I'm going to go ahead and do new business, Resolution 2211 regarding deferred comp. And we'll read that summary, and then we'll entertain any questions, and then I'll circle back to the October work session. Go ahead.
Okey-doke. Resolution 2211, resolution of governing body, Scott County Fiscal Court. Whereas the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Kentucky has enacted sections 18A.230 through 18A.275 of the Kentucky Revised Statutes authorizing the creation of the Kentucky Public Employees Deferred Compensation Authority Board of Trustees and the establishment of the Kentucky Public Employees Deferred Compensation Authority, or KDC. And whereas the Commonwealth, by KDC, sponsors the Kentucky Employees 457 Deferred Compensation Plan and the Kentucky Public Employees 401k Deferred Compensation Plan, which includes KDC's deemed IRA program, the plans, for adoption by local governmental political subdivisions and units. And whereas Scott County wishes to adopt and enter that certain joinder agreement attached here to, now therefore be it resolved that Scott County Fiscal Court of Commonwealth of Kentucky hereby enters and adopts the joinder agreement with KDC for participation in the 457 plan and the 401k plan for the benefit of its eligible employees, and further resolve the Kara Oliver payroll manager be and hereby is authorized and directed by Scott County to execute the joinder agreement with KDC, which authorizes KDC to administer the plans on behalf of Scott County, and to do all further acts and things, and to execute all further documents in writing, which the authorized signatory determines to be necessary or desirable in order to effect this resolution.
Pretty self-explanatory. But if there are questions, we'll try to answer those. It's a procedural documentation and designating Kara Oliver. Motion for Mr. Lyons. Second for Mr. Hostetler. Any other questions or comments?
Do we have anybody participating in those plans? Yeah. On the deferred comp, yes.
Okay. So, any other questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now, I'll swing back up there. October work session, we're scheduled for October 7th at 9 a.m., and that is the Friday of fall break. I personally will be out of town, and for that work session, to be honest with you, I was going to propose that we have some feedback and public input from groups associated. I'd like to ask a spokesman from the Riders Up group, a spokesperson from the mountain bike community, and then maybe someone from the hunting community to come and really just give the court some input from their perspective in regards to the proposed reservoir property lease agreement. And I've had, probably 7, 8 emails. I've had a few folks stop by and see me. And most of those folks are from, or all those folks so far, other than one mountain bike representative, we're all from Riders Up, and concerned about the opportunity for horseback riding if we entered into the lease is not really what concerns them. It's the sale, potentially. It's something that, in my mind, we need to do our due diligence and and get all the feedback we can. We need then to look at the issues and then make a decision to move forward. We're blessed to have a resource out there, and the property is, community, used by the community, used by people from outside the community as well. But there's a lot of things to consider. Originally it was purchased for a reservoir and for future water needs. That's a consideration as well. What comments would anyone like to make on that proposal about possibly moving? And I would propose that we move it to Tuesday, October 11th, and do it at 6 o'clock in the evening, so it'd be easier for folks to come and speak. And my goal is to have a representative from each group, not have, multiple folks from the same groups. I hope that makes sense, and if anybody disagrees, certainly would value your input.
I make a motion to have
So is your motion to move off the 7th and go to the 11th?
Correct.
At 6, okay, so we have a motion to do that. Is there any other comments, or is there a second?
Well, I'll give you a second, but also a couple comments. I think there's another group or two, I guess you would classify it, folks that want to talk about camping and hiking, and even more about maybe Boy Scout / Girl Scout activities.
And you had mentioned that, and I apologize for
No,
not
that's
mentioning
okay.
that group. But could we intentionally invite that group?
I'm going to.
That gentleman that reached out to you?
I will. And another comment, I agree with you to try to help move the meeting along to have spokesmen, but I always make it plain, and I don't think anybody up here disagrees, but everyone's welcome to come, as far as I'm concerned. And then, because you never know, even a spokesman might miss something, and somebody else in that group might say, well, hey, wait a minute, what about this thought here? I don't know how that'll go down, but I want folks to know that everybody's welcome. And
well, my intent is to have it at 6 instead of 9 a.m.
And I appreciate that. I think obviously we got a lot of folks that work second shift, so we're never going to be able to hit a spot that everybody can get to. But I think more folks are available in the evening hours than in the morning hours. So that's just my opinion. But I'll second David's motion.
Any other questions or comments?
Will we have,
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I'll make sure. Okay, but we'll make sure of that.
Judge,
Chad.
one thing that I think that I'd like to get before that meeting is correspondence from GMWSS. We had requested a while back about a water study, and if we could get some correspondence from them as far as in relation to the reservoir.
I have a letter, and I shared information about that, but I'll share the letter from Chase Azevedo that essentially says that let me add one thing to it.
Yeah.
Less than 2 months ago, I had a phone conversation after an email with a representative from Army Corps of Engineers. They confirmed that nothing had changed in regards to the possible permitting, that they still felt like that building a reservoir was not the least environmentally impactful option. There were other less impactful options. So in their opinion, nothing has changed in regards to that permit. So that's one piece of information. Number two, I will share that letter, but from Chase Azevedo. But from estimates building that reservoir, even if we did build it, like at peak pool, it would supply a maximum of 4 million gallons a day. And going forward, what GMWSS has shared is looking at future water needs. By 2040, we're going to need over 10 million gallons per day on an average daily demand. So if you look at what we have right now, which is 4, that's supplied out of Royal Spring and are available. And when we are short, we use the Frankfurt Plant Board and Kentucky American. But if you added that other 4, we're still we're still short. So their focus, from what's been shared with me, is looking at, an independent source that would provide over 10 million gallons a day. So that piece of data that I'll share with you will confirm that that piece of property, even if we built a reservoir, would not meet future needs.
I think that's important as we keep things in perspective here, that was originally purchased to provide water for Scott County and Georgetown. And if we need to invest for future water adequacy for our community, then the sale of that property out there, which was bought for that purpose, we need to look at the possibility of moving toward selling that property and then potentially using that money to invest in what the original purpose was, and that is to get water to our citizens.
So your stance is if we go to sell it, then the consideration should be what it was originally purchased for.
And all these discussions are in that perspective of, if we do something with Fish and Wildlife, then with a possibly potential sale, we know that what our purpose is and what the course is for the county.
Any other comments? So we've got a motion and a second. All those in favor of moving to October 11th at 6, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We'll need to, I'll make sure that we put on Facebook and let people know that that's going to be the case. And then I'll pick up the phone and call representatives of the groups that I've talked to. Rick, you'll reach out to yours. We'll go from there. I do want to mention, just we've put this on Facebook, but if you all will share as well, October 29th, 9 to 2, Super Recycling Day, and we are truly indebted to Toyota again on that in respect to their support of that event. That event would cost us over $100,000 easy if we tried to do that alone. And it really helps keep our waters clean and our community clean by having that. And I did want to mention, John Ward and his team are working on the source well documentation for the ladder in the engine, and we will have those documents to share with you and bring back to you for approval at the first October business meeting. I don't have any other new business. Does anyone have any new business that they'd like the court to consider?
I don't judge it. I think there might be a couple folks in the audience.
I'm going to call on
I'm
anybody
sorry.
from the audience that might want to address the court. No one else? Anyone from the audience have any new business?
Yes.
Yes, sir. If you just state your name.
James Cook.
Yes, sir.
Lived on Gaines Road, and you've answered a lot of my questions already. It's concerning the property that was purchased on Gaines Road. And JR, I wouldn't want to brag on you in front of you, but I'm going to have to. You guys do a super job down there. I appreciate the work you do in the winter to get that old road open, but especially the bone, because that road's in there. When you run off of it, you don't know where you're going. But keeping that mode helps out. What I wanted to do, I started to do, but you've answered, like I said, you've answered some of my questions. But I still want to let you know that the people that live there, the people that sold property, most are gone now, but there's some of us left. And when we sold that property, we didn't have much choice but sell it. Fiscal court approached those people and said, you need to do the county a great service and sell your property. Well, and we had some neighbors that didn't want to do that. They went to the Supreme Court and took the property anyway. So they paid that extra expense for nothing. So we agreed, okay, well, we're going to sell our best property we have. You know, when you're in those hills, you got a flat spot along a creek, it's pretty valuable to you. Well, we sold, and then, you know, it went, well, I doubt there ever be a lake built there. But anyway, when we sold our property, then next thing you see, we got horse riders on the property that we used to own. And we felt betrayed because we were trying to do a good thing for the county. And now we've got horse riders down there riding on. Now, let's talk about the horse riders. And I had some other stuff, like I said, you answered that, but no one down there actually has a problem with the horse riders. It's the road that we have a problem with. Gaines Road is a 12-foot road. You got 8-foot horse trailers on. That leaves you 4 foot to pass them. You can't do it. It's dangerous. If we continue to keep letting horse riders come in there to ride, we've got to widen that road. That road needs to be at least 4 feet wide, wider than what it is. And the reason I say it's dangerous, when you meet a horse trailer on that road, you can't pass. So you're sitting there looking at each other. And the only thing, they can't back up or won't. So I'm backing up to find a gateway, to find a driveway, some way to get out of the road so they can get by. Now, when I'm backing up on that little narrow road, they're driving forward. They're coming with me. Now, if there's a car coming behind me, and he's doing 40, 50 mile an hour, and they do, I've seen him on that road do that. He can't stop. He's going to rear end me, and I'm going to be sandwiched right between those two vehicles. That would be an ugly situation. It is very dangerous. Now, if you decide whatever you'll decide in the future, if you decide you don't want to widen that road, the other answer is, which is logical to me, I've brought it up before, bring the horse riders in off Skinnersburg Road and into Stoggle Road. You got about 400 or 500 yards of old Stoggle Road left, a big bottom there that they can park their trailers in. There's no through traffic. There's only one house on that road. To me, that would work. But that's, you know, and I've seen as many as 35 horse trailers in that bottom there at a time. Now, if you don't know where I live on the hill right above that.
No, we
So I see it
know
all the
exactly
time.
where you live, and JR and I've been down there and had to back up a few times ourselves.
Yeah. Now, the other issue that has got to be addressed, we have horse trailers that are huge. And I've seen them out of state. You probably know about people. People come there everywhere. But we got some that's huge, and they got living quarters in them. And along with those living quarters, they got bathrooms built in. Now, some of those will come in there on a Friday, and they won't leave till sometime Sunday. Now, I was going up that road 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I noticed this funny color in the road. I thought it was actually transmission fluid when I first saw it. But then, 2 weeks ago, my wife and I were leaving for church. Here comes that big horse trailer up over the hill past my house. So immediately I went straight down the road, and I was right. They're dumping their sewage tank right on the road. Now, we have to drive through that and park our cars in the garage. That has got to stop. There's a lot of people will see that stops, but that needs to come from the fiscal court. Either stop the camping out. That wasn't designed for a camp out area anyway. That was made for people to come in there, ride their horses, and leave that day. But we got a major issue with that. So anything you can do to stop that, I'd appreciate it, and I'll leave it up to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
How long is that?
3 miles.
And I agree. If no matter what, if you're going to look at if you lease it or if you keep it, the best thing to do would be to promote people to come in off Burton to Skinnersburg to there to Stockdale, and then try to navigate something from there. I agree 1,000 times, because the cost to widen Gaines would be quite a dollar. It'd be quite a dollar. So I don't know if that answers your question, David, but any other questions or comments?
Well, Skinnersburg is rather narrow too, and I've never measured it.
But it's shorter.
It is shorter distance from Burton Pike to,
Yeah.
that little parking area.
Skinnersburg's a fairly wide road.
I've never measured it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, you better believe it.
My name's Robert Bruin, in case you didn't know. I just want to say something. You talked earlier about the meeting on 11th, inviting some groups. I would hope you wouldn't forget about the property owners.
Absolutely.
Because, we're not against anybody coming down there and using the property. Nobody's up here saying that. But we have to live down there. August 28th was Saturday night. August 27th, Saturday night. I left the next day to go on vacation. Me and my wife was going home, right close to where some property is, that your son had bought and had to
And now
sell.
it's since sold.
And they're building a house now. So
Well, they
Yeah.
sold that. He bought it, and about 2 weeks later got a job he couldn't pass up.
Yeah.
Now he lives in Junction City, of all places.
I understand that.
But
But
he was ready to move down there.
yeah, majority of the horse riders that come down there and other people come down there are fine. They're good people. But there are a few, like Mr. Cook said, about the sewage on the ground. I seen that too. But that night before I left, I had one, and I know who it is. She's run me off the road before, but she run me clean off the road, and if I wasn't going out of town, I would hit her because it was my wife's vehicle. But I couldn't leave her that way. So, but, I blew the horn at her. I was off the road, and I know what off the road is. And, I got the one finger salute from them as they left. So,
They were telling you were number one.
yeah, I knew that. But I just don't forget about the property owners that are down there. That's all we're asking.
Yes, sir. Any other questions or comments? Anyone else? Well, with that said, is there a motion for adjournment? Motion from Kelly Corman, second from David Livingston. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.
Wonder if that